This is Jeff from Floyd County, Georgia, Rome, Georgia, that is a transporter for U.S. Animal Protection and previous ACO corrections officer out of Floyd County Animal Control. And wanted to talk to Jeff today about the Floyd County Animal Control and how the shelters run and the staff at the Animal Control. And Jeff, I know we've tried to do this before, but now we're going to go one more time, and maybe you can tell us, you know, first of all, about the euthanasia procedures, and you know, there's been some things floating around, allegations about animals killed cruelly, and improper use of the injections and sedations of these animals. And were you ever trained at the Floyd County Animal Control?
I was showed by the veterinarian from Berry College how to do it, but I didn't actually do it in front of him. He told me how to do it, showed me how to do it, but he didn't actually do it the way he told me how to do it. He just injected. He didn't shave the leg and didn't sedate them none before he put the other injection in. So it said put one kind in to sedate them, another kind in to euthanize them in the vein. And he just stuck it in the vein and euthanized one and signed off on me without watching me and told me I was good to go.
So, as long as you were there at Floyd County, did you ever see what the rescuers report and the prisoners have reported of any animals suffering after being injected by either intravenous or intraperitoneal injections?
Oh yeah, when they stick in the arm, if they didn't get the vein, they'd repeatedly keep pulling out, sticking in, pulling out until they got the vein or got blood to euthanize them. And they couldn't, if it was too many of a dog, they'd hold it down with their foot in the parking lot with inmates to put it in the stomach to sedate them down enough to where they could finally get it, just put extra in them. And the puppies and the pregnant dogs, they just do the pregnant dogs and let the puppies suffocate, they said, and the cats, but it'd take 3 or 4 minutes to kill after, or they pass away, you know, after you inject them in the stomach. They just put them all in the same kennel, let them run around, fall down, stagger until they couldn't get up.
Were they crying? Were they making any kind
of whining? And oh yeah.
Well, that was the intraperitoneal injection. And what happens when they do that is they push the needle too far in, and then it will go into the organ, and then it's a horrific death. And sometimes you'll see you'll see the feces, the urine, the blood coming out of every orifice when that happens. Have you ever witnessed anything like that?
No, just using the bathroom, they'll poop a lot or start vomiting or whatever.
Right. After they're injected. No sedations for those kitties.
No.
Okay. Do you think they did that? Do you think they had the sedatives at the shelter?
They should have if they was going to do it. I mean, I didn't ever see them, but all I see is the bottles.
Well, there's concern of sometimes they're Schedule II narcotics about them disappearing. They're supposed to keep DEA logs of those. I'm sure you are probably well aware of that.
Right.
And but sometimes when they did the injections, did they have to do it more than once?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sometimes they wouldn't get it. They have enough in them, 4 cc's or whatever they'd use them. You try to use 4 cc's in the vein or 6 in the stomach. You know, maybe 2 cc's in a cat or in their stomach or something like that, or a smaller cat.
Did they ever weigh the animals, or did they just guess?
No, they just guess by looking at them.
It's mandatory, really, that if you have a scale in the shelter. Did you ever know of any animals that were possibly buried alive or found in any garbage bags alive?
Yeah, I took some personally myself one time, and inmate got out to drop the tailgate where the guy had dug a hole at the landfill to dump them, and heard one whining, he said, got back there and couldn't see nothing moving. We dug through all the bags. There's probably 75 dogs and 60 or 70 cats in there, and a couple of deer we'd picked up on the side of the road also. And we finally ripped one up and seen the dog in there alive still. It wasn't moving or nothing. Had to take it out of the bag. There's 2 dogs in that same bag, take it back to animal control, and I just shoot it up again with it and euthanize it.
Well, I know the prisoners have sometimes reported those animals alive in the garbage bags, and then I think something might have happened over at Berry College. How's that work? What's Berry College do? I've heard that they come and pick these animals up and say, okay, we want 10 dogs, let's just say, or 10 kitties. And do they give rescue a chance for those dogs at all when Berry College says they want 10? When
Berry College come in, they write on the ticket to hold for them, and that's the ones that was always for them that was going to get euthanized already, and they'd euthanize them and leave them outside until Berry College come pick them up themselves. And when I was there, the lady that come picked them up checked all of them with a stethoscope or whatever to check their heart, because she said last time they had one still breathing when they got there. So they checked them all to make sure they passed away. But they'd be 10 to 20. I think they did 20 that time because they got 10. They come back and got 10 more to take the berry causes.
Using them for the students, I guess?
Students for dissection.
Yeah, a lot of those schools are stopping that practice. Right. There's just other, models that you use, and you don't have to use a lot of animals.
Right.
So, are they making a profit at the shelter on those, or they just give them to them?
Just give them to them, as far as I know, in return for using his license to euthanize, I guess. Any
compassion, you think? Well, the people that euthanize are Keelan and
Matt.
Matt. Do you think they have any? And then there's Jason Broom. Any compassion for the animals whatsoever?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
What about shooting animals? We've heard they've just flat out shot animals instead of euthanizing them.
We had a dog come in with pups, and she was a little aggressive, probably scared. The owner actually brought her in, and after the dog got loose and went out the back door, and they ended up using the pup to get her back in the door out the back. And then the next day she got out again, and Jason Broom told Keelan to take a pup outside and set it in the fenced parking lot where we parked our trucks at, separate from visitors, and try to get her to come in the fence. And she came in, and I walked outside, the pup was standing on her back feet nursing the mom standing above her. And Jason Broom told Keelan to shoot her with a 12 gauge out of the armory because they couldn't catch her.
What did you do?
And they had a live trap out there, and she wouldn't go in it. So I went back inside because I didn't want to be in there and see that. So I went back inside, heard the gun go off, and Keelan come back inside and told Matt to get a gun, that she was running down the road, and there was 2 cars stopped on the road out there, and she was running down the road towards it. And then they looked for her and couldn't find her, and later on that evening they went looking again, and Matt found her laying down, said she couldn't get up, and he walked up and shot her with the gun, and ended up toting her back down there to be put in the freezer until they had freezers. They put dogs they euthanized during the week or pick up a dead animal they don't want to go all the way to the landfill for. They put them in a deep freezer in the back, and they put it in there until next time we went. She just shot the dog with a 12 gauge.
Well, if they're putting them in the freezer and they're not checking for rigor mortis or death, there's a good chance those animals are going even into the freezers alive, which we found in Rushville, Indiana, Scioto, Ohio. Right. So they could be being buried alive, because if you see it once, twice, 3 times, the reports that have come in, then it's happening on a regular basis. No sedation. You say they're stepping on the animals, and as if they would just sedate them, that would calm the animal enough where they could do it humanely.
Well, also on that situation with the mama dog, since they euthanized her, or shot her and killed her, the puppies wasn't old enough to be on their own, so went in there that evening and euthanized all the puppies. And because there was 5 or 6 puppies in there, and they wasn't old enough to nurse on her to be on their own, so had to euthanize them after that.
It's just tragic what goes on in these shelters here in Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia, Arkansas. It's just bad in the South. South Carolina, it's just commonplace, and we want to send a strong message to Americans that this is what goes on a regular basis every day. Right. In these animal shelters.
They're not rescue friendly anyway, because when I was there wasn't no rescues coming in at all. Right. For the first 4 or 5 months, and then that rescue come in from Cartersville, and Laney Warren had hired them to pull the dogs out to keep them from getting euthanized, and the people's vehicle broke down on the way to Rome, and they come in their Mercedes and put what they could get in the car, and said they'd be right back to pick the rest of them up, nearly 30 more dogs, I think. And when they left the premises, Jason locked the gate at the road, told to lock the door, told the secretary not to answer the phone, and told Keelan and Matt to start euthanizing, and went in there and pulled them all out, and the inmates got them out and euthanized them right then. And the people come back wanting to know where their dogs was, and Jason told them it was already at the landfill.
And they were just living, I'm sure.
Just waiting on them to come back, because they did come back. Yeah. They told them they was coming back.
And when they put these dogs on some kind of metal probably table, right? How's that? What do? They just put them on the table, or stand on their bodies with their leg, and then what do they do from there after they euthanize?
After they
or kill. We want to say kill because that's a humane death. It's not euthanize. Right. It's kill.
So they just put the inmates puts the dogs on the top of the examining board and wraps a leash around their neck, their head, where they can't, around their jaws where they can't bite them, and the inmate stands behind them with a garbage bag, and that inmate puts his arm around him, holds the leash while kid under mat 1 gets it in the leg, euthanize it, and as soon as it hits the thing, they just push it off the back end of the garbage bag and throw it in the dump truck in the back. That's it.
And then, and you said that you had a hard time when you first came in emotionally with what you saw. Tell me how.
John told me to go ahead and cry and get it out and get used to it. That's the way it was going to be every Wednesday. I'm going to get used to it.
Did you cry?
Oh yeah, all day. Told me you couldn't have a heart to do this.
I don't see how. I really don't.
Not killing animals like that.
And you know what we have to realize is it's not an isolated incident. These animals being put in garbage bags alive, or possibly even the freezers alive,
right.
or being thrown into the maybe a back run where the kitties are just lashing around, and it's obviously they're injecting improperly, and
right.
they're dying inhumanely, and they have been for God. How many years has that place been open?
I have no idea.
20, maybe time. 20 years.
At least.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it's been there over 20 years.
Yeah. Is that right? Okay.
Right.
Well, we're going to stop the tape. Jeff, thank you. Jeff is a transporter with U.S. Animal Protection and has assisted with the girls, especially Lainey and many of us girls, Floyd, myself, excuse me, to rescue hundreds of animals out of Floyd County Animal Control. Thankfully, there are people out there that care about these issues, but what needs to be exposed is the cruel killings at the Floyd County Animal Control. So, thank you, Jeff. Jeff just finished a transport from Floyd County to Marietta, a couple-hour drive, and we want to thank you from U.S. Animal Protection. Thank you, Jeff.